Hello there, welcome to episode 36 of SWA Podcast. Picked a good time to get this back on the road because we've got a very busy last week to recap and go over and shit on and praise and all of the things that smarky wrestling fans like to do. I'm Reese, joining me as always is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Hello, Reese, you alright?
Yeah, good, thank you. Are you ready to talk about some wrestling?
Yeah, just a little bit of wrestling, nothing major this week.
No, pretty much. Well, would WWE? I mean, it was a major WWE show, but has anything major come out of it?
Little show, might have heard of it, called SummerSlam. I think Japan had their thing called the G1.
The G1, yeah.
The G1. G1.
Do you know what a Climax are twinning in? Oh, I didn't say like
Japan.
Japanese.
Wrestling.
Right, yeah, no, lots to talk about. So why don't we jump straight in?
Yeah, go on.
Actually, we say SummerSlam and G1. The first show of the weekend on Saturday night was, of course, NXT Takeover Toronto 2. Is this the second Toronto show they've done?
I think it's the first one, to be honest.
There you go. Well, ignore me. So, right, NXT Takeover. What did you think?
I thought this was a good show, although we've been on a bit of a tear with NXT takeovers recently. I didn't think it was truly outstanding as such, if that makes any sense.
That does seem to be the overriding opinion. That, of course, it wasn't a bad show.
No.
But it didn't feel like it was as good as previous or most takeovers up until now.
It just kind of missed a spark. I really don't know why. The show itself was actually quite consistent, but just something was missing from it. Really don't know what, though.
Yeah, I mean, do you think there's a lack of names in NXT at the moment?
I don't think so, because I think at the moment their roster's actually quite solid. Obviously, there's the whole criticism of where they've lost guys like, I mean, this is years now, but Finn, Nakamura, Owens, Zayn, to name a few.
I think they've all been adequately replaced.
Yeah, same. That's what I mean. You've got Undisputed Era, Gargano's still there. I mean, you've technically got Ciampa whenever he returns. Women's division's not too bad, although that's something to discuss quickly with the title match.
Well, the best match on this show was a women's match, and it wasn't that title match. Yeah,
that's true. Absolutely true.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's run through it. Street Profits, Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championships. They always open these takeovers with the big tag matches. I'll be honest. I haven't really watched a lot of NXT TV recently. I tend to read the results and then not really watch it, unless there's like a ridiculously good match on there which everyone praises from the tapings, and I tend to watch it. Like British Strong Style against Undisputed Era, the rematch they had after the Royal Albert Hall show. That was that was one of the best TV matches I've seen in a long time. So yeah, I haven't really seen much of the Street Profits, but they're pretty good.
They are. I like them quite a bit. They've obviously, I'd say transcended, but they're currently serving as backstage segments on Raw.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Which is a little bit random. They are very good. Obviously, between them, Montez Ford is the... I mean, did you see some of his moves in these matches where he was doing bloody drop kicks and they were like 8 feet in the air and stuff?
He's the one, isn't he? He's the one. I mean, I think Meltzer thinks he's got a good chance at being a big star.
He is, yeah. I think someone else made that sentiment as well. And Dawkins, I want to dare say he's been there for forever. But they're a very solid team. Again, I thought this was going to be their farewell because, again, they have been featured quite prominently backstage. But from the results, it sounds like they're still staying in NXT for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Street Profits won, defended their titles. 16:55 this went. Yeah,
like
good. Yeah, it was good. I thought it was a good opener. The tag matches on takeovers are always good. They're always solid openers. Sometimes they're just fucking outstanding. This was very good. And Undisputed Era are great. Obviously, big fan of O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I thought they might have got the win just because they're in Canada and it's Kyle, but you know.
Yeah, you know what they're like with WWE with hometown people. They usually book them into fucking oblivion and then wonder why the crowds don't sell out when they come back. I
Yeah.
thought this was going to be probably cheating. I thought either Street Profits would lose the titles and then they would definitely be moving over to main roster permanently. But then I thought maybe the Undisputed Era will lose this and then they'll end up migrating over themselves. But it
Mm.
seems as if it's just kind of everything's kind of staying in place at the moment. But it was a good match. No complaints from me from this match.
Yeah, it was good. Next up was Io Shirai against Candice LeRae. This was excellent.
Yeah, not to
No,
dispute it. It was a
yeah, I
great
mean,
match.
I said earlier it was the best women's match on the card. It was the best match on the card. Never mind what kind of match it was. It was fantastic.
I'll disagree with you for the time being. I'll explain why later. I love this match though. Shirai, I've always sung her praises. I think her heel work has been very. She's only had about 2 or 3 weeks on television as a heel. I love her entrance and stuff. I think it's really good using the Japanese subway system as like this starter. And
Mm,
her just character's very interesting. Again, it's kind of funny because the women's division at the moment is kind of headlined by two major heels at the moment.
yeah,
Very interested to see where she goes. And Candice is just like, the similar to Gargano, ironically, where they're like the plucky, never say die babyface. But in this match, she was just absolutely outclassed. She was completely, minus a few hope spots, completely destroyed in this match.
yeah. I quite enjoyed the brutality of it. Actually, I thought it was just really well put together. I actually
Hmm.
thought this is probably one of the first times you've seen Candice actually wrestle to her style, her actual style. It seems like
Yeah.
the shackles are off, and she was actually allowed to wrestle the style she wanted to, and I thought she was good.
Yeah. No,
She was,
because
yeah, she was the babyface. She was the plucky babyface, obviously.
I felt very sorry for her, but this was the right result. Similar to another squash match which was on the main roster, this was the absolute right result if you want to establish a new killer heel for your roster.
Wasn't
But
really a squash though, was it?
it
15
went
minute
on for
squash.
15 minutes, yeah, but it was more of a dissection as such. It was
Yeah,
literally watching Shirai basically take apart
I
Candice LeRae for a
suppose.
quarter of an hour.
I suppose they gave her the kick out of the moonsault, which was interesting, and then obviously the technical submission finish.
Gives Candice something to fight back for.
Yeah, it also tells you a story, and that any match they have, that submission could put her to sleep. You're very likely going to have a spot where she gets that submission on, but she actually powers out of it and whatever. So we'll see.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm. But no, good match. Io Shirai, you could probably say now, finally arrived in NXT.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that statement, yeah.
Um, this was followed by a triple threat match, which in WWE is always an odd one because it's, as we always say, it's there's three in the ring. Oh, let's toss him out and have a single match. Repeat, rinse, and repeat. But yeah, this was for the NXT North American Championship. Velveteen Dream defending against Peter Dunne and Roddy Strong. Uh, this was all right. You know what I thought? I thought this was good, but I thought it went on a bit too long.
I completely agree. It's funny you've come up with
Mm.
that. I thought I was expecting massive things from this match. A bit weird for the build up because Pete Dunne has literally just returned in the last 2 weeks, maybe three
Gets
weeks out of
gets a
nowhere.
gets a good pop over the pond, doesn't he?
He does, but he took the fall. So
Yeah, but they each didn't they each have a visual pinfall on each other during this, and also don't before this match doesn't everyone have a win over everyone or something like that? It was booked quite well, or it was built to quite well.
yeah, again, it's I would have had Velveteen definitely winning this because I think his time on NXT's running out as such, but they need to keep him kind of strong before I would hazard a guess to say WrestleMania season when he finally migrates over to the main rosters.
I'd quite like to see him win the NXT title before he went up.
Same, but that title doesn't necessarily equal world championship reigns in the future. So maybe that might be
No,
best if he's
I
first
agree.
major titles on main roster as such.
I do agree with that, but then I think to myself, he is of all the people when they talk about NXT graduates to the main roster and whatnot, that very few are actually from start to finish a PC product, and he is. So I think actually having him go through developmental to the point where he is the world champion of developmental, and then he moves up would be a nice story. But you're right, he doesn't technically need it. Um, but yeah, this was good. But I think with triple threat matches, I think I've just decided now that I either like a triple threat match to be a complete sprint of ridiculous 3-person spots that barely hits 10 minutes. I think they're the only triple threat matches I enjoy. Everything else I kind of think is a bit too, the formula is, oh, let's beat each other up. Oh, he's been chucked out the ring. And then there's the weird, being thrown out of the ring and landing on the floor, and you sell it for 4 minutes. Whereas any other single or tag match, you'd get up straight away and just, it's just a bit obvious, the formula. And obviously wrestling, whatever. But I just like the sprint. I mean, that's a weird example, but if you look at like TNA triple threat matches back in the day, like in the X Division and whatnot, they were just like 8-minute sprints, and they were so entertaining because pretty much everything involved all 3 people.
True.
That's just personal taste. So there you go.
I was going to say, but the main criticism of those matches were they were literally spot fest with no psychology. But then again, for those type of matches, they tend to be X Division matches, whereas this one is an actual, well, not legit, but it's like a more heavyweight based belt. If that makes any sort of sense, it's probably a load of bollocks what I'm saying.
Makes sense, but
I just expected a bit more from this match. You had obviously these 3 are very credible, all like whopper talents, and just I don't know why, just maybe because it went on for a bit too long. It was the second longest match on this card. Obviously compared to the final 4, it wasn't that bad. It just I expected a bit more, but
yeah,
not bad though. Not terrible though. We've seen much worse triple threat matches. This was fine.
-5 stars.
What is it? Oh, I ain't got the results with me. I'd have to check what did.
Oh, I'll find them in a minute. Hang on.
Yeah, just for comparison's sake.
But yeah, Velveteen Dream retains, and good for him. He's he's awesome. I really hope Vince doesn't fuck him up when he eventually does.
I think unfortunately it's inevitable. So I'm enjoying the Velveteen Dream whilst he's like not unfiltered, but whilst he's like not ruined, whilst he's good in NXT.
Yes. Next up was Baszler against Maya Yim. This was rubbish, really.
Really? See, like I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was the weakest match on this card.
Well, they fluffed their lines, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a few sloppy moments in this.
Well, there was the bit when they stopped wrestling and just started jaw-jacking, and it was basically them thinking, "Fuck, what's the next spot?" And it just completely ruined it.
This is why it's a developmental brand, because they can iron this out.
Just to let you know, Meltzer gave the tag match a 3.75. Candice against EO 4.25.
Ooh.
Dunn v Strong v Dream 3.5, and he gave this 1.5. I think I agree with him on that.
I'd give it. I never really take it seriously because obviously once you break the scale, it's a bit difficult. I would rate a little bit higher. It wasn't that bad. I was more disappointed by the result as such because this isn't a knock against Shayna Baszler. I think she's, as I've noted several times on this podcast, I think she's a fantastic heel, very menacing, very. You've got that reality behind her, but it's literally a case of who is now left to compete against her. They did build up Mia really well for this feud to say that she was like ready to take her on, and yet she got beaten literally by submission quite definitively without interference, without any shenanigans. It's like, where else do you go with Baszler at this point? Because Shirai going against her doesn't make sense, heel versus heel. Who else is there? But I didn't think it was that bad. I do understand some people's sentiments. It was the weakest match on the card, and it was kind of in a bit of a death spot because I think the crowd were desperate for a break, and obviously they had nearly an hour left afterwards with the final match.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And then, the final match, the main event, another Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano epic, you can say, in some ways. So this was... They didn't call it a 3 Stages of Hell match. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they don't say hell.
Now you've said that, that's so bizarre. They haven't included that. Didn't even think of that. It is, yes, it is.
It's a best 2 out of 3 fall match with each fall having different rules. That's a 3 Stages of Hell match, but okay. Do you reckon it's because they just don't want to say hell on television? But then there's Hell in a Cell. Heck in a Cage.
I literally think they probably didn't think of it. Even though it's hilarious because obviously NXT is run by Triple H, and one of the greatest 3 Stages of Hell matches of all time involved Austin and Triple H. So I reckon they just forgot.
What a well booked finish that match was.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
It's a shame WrestleMania 17 had to follow it, and it all goes downhill from that moment. Anyway, point aside, this match,
Okay,
Reese.
Cole Gargano, NXT Championship. Best 2 out of 3s. Each fall has a different rule. Hell, 3 stages of hell match. What did you think?
I love this match. Really did love it. I think this was definitely my favorite match of the card. I thought it was very well booked. I thought each match was unique. I thought it showcased both lads tremendously, and this is Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, who have been absolutely stellar this year with their matches. Big thumbs up. I love this match.
Yeah,
Go on.
no, I agree.
Go on.
It's not that you know what? I do understand the people that think it was a bit too much, or just a bit. I don't agree with the self-indulgent thing. I think if you've watched Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole matches throughout their careers, I don't understand how you can come to that conclusion. Quite honestly,
I don't want to sound harsh, but the person who led that charge was a big fan of another 2 out of 3 falls match,
well,
which
we've
went on.
discussed this. Yeah,
I know it's just I don't understand how you can like that match. I mean, obviously there's stipulations in this match, so that's literally the only thing. But I thought this showcased both lads really well. I think the psychology behind the first fall of having Gargano cost himself it is actually quite good because it basically proves that had Gargano just had a little bit more restraint on himself, things might have been so much different. That's good storytelling.
Yeah, I always think NXT main events have always got very strong storytelling. So obviously, Cole won 2-1. It seems as though Gargano is done with NXT, just going by the way the show ended and comments since and Triple H's tweets and whatnot. Just to quickly run through it. So Cole won 2-1, which always happens in a main event 2 out of 3 falls match, I guess. The first match was a straight wrestling match. The second fall was it Street Fight? It was, wasn't it?
Yep.
And then the third fall was a cage match with weapons, but you could only win via pinfall or submission.
It's because it was a barbed wire steel
There
cage
we go.
match.
It was a barbed wire steel cage match. Thank you, because there's the spot when Gargano clips it off, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was really good. It's just shy of 47 minutes, which I'll be honest with you, it takes a very special match to go that long and be like truly great. I think Meltzer gave it 4 stars, even though he's technically had a pop about it, he still gave it 4 stars, which means it was a great match. I do tend to agree with that. Yeah, I think you clip 10 minutes off it, it's probably a bit better in my opinion, but it was good, really good.
I loved it. I completely disagree with a lot of the criticisms behind it. I thought it was an absolutely stellar match. If this is Gargano's farewell, absolute shame. He's been absolutely fantastic on NXT. But this was a match of my favourites, so I was happy regardless of whichever result goes. Very interested to see where we go now with Cole. And yeah, big thumbs up. I really love this match. Yeah, no complaints. No complaints from me.
I reckon Cole will lose the title against whoever he faces at the Survivor Series takeover.
Do you think then he would then debut at the Rumble?
He's already been in a Rumble.
I was going to say, but full time. I know. Fucking NXT. Oh.
Maybe.
Unless the whole rumour and innuendo about NXT going to Fox for Wednesday to compete against the Blood and Guts organisation.
I do think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain it's going to happen.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then that will be the golden era of NXT finish because, pow, I want to get my fingers in the pie of NXT. And he'll be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, once it goes to proper TV, that's Vince's baby. And Vince will fucking ruin it.
Yep. He's got the opposite of the Midas touch. I don't even know what we would go like.
Brown fingers?
Yes. Oh, grim.
Right then. So, NXT Takeover, a good show as always. Move on to SummerSlam, which isn't always. Well, when I was a kid, SummerSlam shows were like, well, they were it was one of my highlights of the summer because obviously we'd be off school and staying up late back in the the summer holidays when you're a kid was that was acceptable to do that. Staying not I mean I very rarely made it to what was it? They used to start at 12, didn't they? And they were very rarely longer than 2.5 hours. So basically 3 o'clock you used to have to stay up till.
I think it was that.
I very rarely did stay up to 3, but I did used to catch a lot. SummerSlam '97 was the first wrestling show I ever watched live.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was much better, but I was a
I
good
was at
kid.
my auntie's house, and she had Sky because we didn't have Sky at that point. She had Sky, so I stayed over and watched it there. Good times, good times.
Did this pay-per-view make you nostalgic for those good times at SummerSlam? Because
Well,
to be fair, SummerSlam's been not too bad. It's just it has the stigma of being a very long show, and yet this show didn't do that. I remember we were joking saying it's going to be.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Main card was 3.5 hours long. When I saw that, I was like, "Fuck, this is." And you know what? It was a great watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a bit of a weird one because even though NXT I think was more consistent in terms of quality, I remember more of this show, and I think I had more fun watching this, even though there's only about half-hour difference between them and the actual main show. Obviously, you got a 2-hour kickoff, which
2-hour kickoff that featured 19 minutes of wrestling.
It was an easy watch for that time. You got some backstage bits and pieces.
I'll tell you what, Harry. It's your job to do the pre-show, so why don't you go on ahead and?
Let's do this. Can I just say as well? So obviously with all these kickoff shows, we have them sitting at a panel. In this particular instance, the arena was completely empty, which is unusual. Usually you have people sitting around. JBL and Sam Roberts are on the arena floor. JBL looks like a fucking basset hound that's eating a sour sweet. He looks so puffy and miserable. It's like,
yeah, well, he's a cunt. He's a cunt, isn't he? So what do you expect?
Yours is much more eloquent. I'll just quickly skim through this. One major thing was backstage with the OC. They met Finn. The OC offered and said if Finn offered a hand and like throw up the too sweet sign, they would interfere, which I thought was quite funny because as we get to that match, that was the very first thing Finn did during the match later on with the Fiend. So watching pre-show, I was like, holy shit, the club are going to interfere to save Finn from the Fiend, but never happened. First match was for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship between Oni Lorcan and Drew Gulak. This match was okay. It was basic, though. Not hard-hitting, no high spots. It was just thoroughly okay. Gulak won when he punched Lorcan in the throat. I think he's pointed out on Twitter that he hit him in the fucking Adam's apple and it pissed him off. And he hit the Cyclone Crash for the 3. The second match was Apollo Crews versus Buddy Murphy. I believe that this was a late addition to the card because I think the original plan before SmackDown was Zayn versus Black, but that got taken out and put onto SmackDown. This was basically a TV angle. Rowan interfered to give Murphy the win via DQ, and we've got the weird TV angle backstage with Brian watching on, where they show it like side on.
Right. Yeah.
Short and sweet. We had a very quick Elias gig where he did sports references, like all Elias gigs. Thankfully, Edge came out with a bit of pyro as well and hit a spear and left the crowd happy. And then your pre-show main event, which I haven't got a sponsor for because fuck it, is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship between defending champions Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus the Iconics. This was a very simple bout. Nothing spectacular. Bliss and Cross retained with a Twisted Bliss via Bliss. I don't know if this is the first ever successful title defense on pay-per-view for these championships.
Maybe.
The match was okay. It was more notable for the fact that Alexa dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, and I think Billie Kay came out dressed with Maleficent's hairdo, which is really fucking depressing that I know both of those references at 31.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss confused a lot of people there, didn't she?
She did that weird laser thing as well.
I mean, like, sexually confused people.
I'm still waiting for this. I mean, I'm taking this is going to be a massive swerve at some point. At the moment, I was expecting Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss to completely implode before they won championships, and yet here we are weeks later, and they seem to be best friends. And I think they are friends in real life as well.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
So, Oh yeah, the
Hey.
only other thing I wanted to point out. So when the Iconics came out, they got their catchphrase where it's like they make the crowd try and say iconic. So they both said in tandem, "The future is," and then the crowd said "undisputed" instead of iconic, which was actually quite funny.
Shock the system.
Pretty much. So that was a kickoff, folks. I've skimmed through it a fuckload, but it's 2 hours of basically backstage filler and interviews that don't mean anything.
Isn't it? It's 2 hours of them trying to convert people on YouTube to buy the network, right?
Well, I don't know if you know, but if you're a new subscriber to the WWE Network, you actually get SummerSlam for free.
Oh God, weird.
I know. Well,
Right then, main card. Becky Lynch jerking the curtain. This was
question mark? No,
yeah. I was a bit surprised by that.
I was as well. Part of me thought, I think this has been raised as one, it's been laughed at, but I came to the same conclusion. I thought, because it's Canada, and Canada is notorious for, booing whoever the fuck they want and cheering whoever they want, I thought they expected Becky to get booed. So they
Maybe,
thought,
yeah.
get it out of the way first. But lo and behold, Natalia comes out, gets a very, no reaction whatsoever, and Becky gets a massive pop. And then this match. What did you think of this, Because I have an opinion on this.
The only thing Natalia got a pop with was when she did the sharpshooter, the initial one. But every
Yeah.
fucker does the sharpshooter when they're in Canada. Christ,
No.
there's about 4 of them on NXT alone.
I know. It's just, but technically, it's kind of hers because at least she has a family link for that particular move.
Oh yeah, of course. What I think of the match, I thought it was decent. I thought it was okay. I was surprised. This is when I got the first clue. Well, obviously, I saw it was 3.5 hours long, but when I saw they had like nearly 13 minutes, I thought, uh, you know, this could be good because you think about it, there was some guaranteed squashes on there, so you kind of thought that people were going to get enough time.
Mm.
And I thought 12.5 minutes was a sufficient amount of time for this match. I thought it was the right length. There were some decent spots. I liked the sharpshooter whilst Becky was clinging onto the post. I thought that was pretty good.
Mm.
I mean this. I don't mean this to sound horrible, but I've seen enough Natalia matches. Really, you just seen. I think I've seen this match, but have they done this match before? I'm sure they have. Maybe not.
Of course, they probably have on TV.
Yeah,
At some point.
I just think the big Becky's big time in the spotlight is good. She's obviously still got that good character. She still gets good reactions, but I think the division is very shallow. What with Sasha coming back, I think that could be a great feud. Hopefully, that's where the direction they're going. It has to be. But I think Becky and Natalia, I'd put it this way, it wasn't a match I was looking forward to.
Yeah, same. I thought this match was fine. I don't see. This is my opinion. I think the agents presumed that Becky was going to get booed and Natalia was going to get cheered. So you had this kind of topsy turvy dynamic where Becky worked heel a bit to start with, but then she still got cheered. And then at some point, Natalia told the crowd to shut up, and then both kind of worked heel. So it kind of was a bit topsy turvy. I didn't mind the swapping finishes thing. I thought it was very.
That always happens in submission matches, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's very video gamey, though.
Yeah, I think back to the Benoit Angle submission matches, and one of the whole points was them slapping him putting the ankle lock on, him doing the crossface.
Yeah, exactly that. I did like the I know it's very simple psychology, but the fact that Natalia worked over legs and obviously using the sharpshooter is such a stupidly obvious thing to do in wrestling, but so many wrestlers seem to completely ignore the idea of, working body parts to do actual moves on them.
Yeah.
But fair play to her for doing it. I'm not of the same sentiment. I think Natalia is quite solid, but as you say, this was not a match. I don't think she had a hope in hell of winning this match. And its placement on the card is very unusual for considering that they're portraying Becky as this, massive entity.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But yeah, it was all right. Nothing special though.
So it was a submission match. Becky won with the disarmer. Disarmer or disarm? Disarmer. Yeah. 12 minutes 35. not too shabby. Meltzer gave it 3.25, which I think's probably. I'll tell you what. He gave this the same rating that he gave Flair and Trish Stratus, which, if you think when you say that out loud, that's bollocks. So no, I disagree with that. But it was decent. It was followed by. Well, this is the most predictable thing on the whole card, really. Ziggler.
We can go through it because we both had two separate opinions as to how this was going to end, and we were both somehow wrong, yet we were both right at the same time.
Well, we both predicted that it would be Spear and Jackhammer.
Yes.
I quite enjoyed the opening, actually. He did two Sweet Chin Musics, right?
Yes, he did. He hit him very quick. See, you said he was going to hit him you said he was going to set up a super kick. But did you say he was going to hit it? Because I said it was just going to be two moves and done and it'd just be all Goldberg. But the fact he actually got two hits on.
Yeah.
And two pins as well. I mean, the first one got a 1 count. And the second one got a 2. I love this, though.
How fucking well does Dolph take a spear?
I know, but this has been the story of Ziggler's career, and I don't mind it. A lot of people say, I mean, this has been what's been featured in the storyline of how he's in quotation marks, second-rate Shawn Michaels with the bumps between him and replicating, I guess, Mr. Perfect as well. But I loved it. I just thought this was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was literally a case of probably like a palate cleanser for Goldberg, who after that Saudi Arabia nightmare.
Well, yeah, that was the point, wasn't it?
Well, the rumour and innuendo is that Vince views Goldberg as like a Sammartino figure, where he can come back for big shows, do a 2-minute showcase where he kills someone, and then gets a pop, and then comes back later on. Which is, you know what, on this kind of card, if this show was 5 hours long, this would be an absolute, just a piss break. But the fact it was quite short and sweet, and it's a redemption for Goldberg, thumbs up. I liked it. I also liked the aftermath the before and aftermath with Ziggler cutting promos. I thought that was a load of fun.
I mean, he is very good on the mic.
Dolph, I still like Zigglypuff. I think he's great.
He does a stand-up one-man show thing, right? So I didn't realise he did that.
Yeah, he's been doing it for years. I mean, he went out with Amy Schumer for a while back.
Didn't he date Dana Brooke as well?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, good. Goldberg 1 minute and 50. Standard stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up was AJ Styles defending the US title, accompanied by Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the OC as they are collectively known. He went up against Ricochet. This was decent, I thought. I liked Ricochet's gear. I thought that he looked good.
And dressed up as Nightwing. Yeah, I thought it was all right. It's a bit weird that, I mean, so many WWE wrestlers now feature comic book inspirations for their gear. Did you see the slogan for the OC? I think I might be paraphrasing it. Did you see what it said on the Titantron?
What did it say?
The OC, the only club that matters.
Oh. Well, they can try and put that on a T-shirt, but they won't outsell Bullet Club. So, no, this was half decent. I was going to say.
I thought this match was quite good. I think it's been spoilt by the fact that they've actually wrestled previously. Obviously, if it was a first time match, it'd be like much bigger. Similar to the first match, it had a bit of psychology again because AJ targeting Ricochet's leg, which I thought was quite good because obviously he was setting up for a calf crusher. Again, It's just such bloody simple psychology, and yet it's been featured twice, and I still remember it. Right result. I like this match.
Yeah, the finish was good. It was straight out of AJ and Loki from many years ago.
Oh, what a flipping hell! That was a flashback. Jeez, well done, man.
Well, that's basically the finish.
Yeah,
catching him from doing that move and then Stars clash. Yeah, it was good. I really liked the bit when Ricochet stepped over both Anderson and Gallows and then did the Hurricanrana on the outside. That was lovely.
Mwah. Fantastic, so skillful. But we've known this about Ricochet for years now.
Yeah, but it is difficult to know what's his ceiling in WWE.
If Vince still views he wants his Mighty Mouse, the long-standing rumor that.
Good God,
Christ, I know, but I mean, I'd strap a rocket to him. He's everything you want. He's literally got all the style in the world, and it's like you remember everything he does.
He couldn't. He's not bad on the mic, but he's not good on the
No,
mic.
nah, but if you've got that much talent in the ring, you could just give him either a mouthpiece or just have him as like cut backstage promos. You can edit the shit out of them.
Well, you can do as many takes as it takes to get good, but yeah.
Yeah, or maybe ask him how he would feel about not fully going by script. Because again, that helps people.
Well, it doesn't, but yeah. No,
No.
good match. Meltz went free. Actually, he went Goldberg Ziggler free, Ricochet Styles free, which seems a bit weird to me, but it was very good. 3 stars probably sounds about right. Dud of the night, to the point where I haven't even got any notes for it because it was nothing.
I've got a paragraph.
Bailey defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Ember Moon. Yeah, this was pants.
I was shocked that this was apparently Ember's first singles match on a WWE pay-per-view, which was
Apparently
maddening.
so.
Apparently, I'm not going to check because it's WWE commentators telling us this. I thought this match was harmless. It had a few highs, but the crowd did not give a flying fuck about this match whatsoever. Even the fact that the match ended with Bailey using, I presume it's either a super Bailey to belly or a avalanche Bailey to belly, basically top rope belly to belly suplex, did not garner a fucking bit of noise. I thought it was fine, but the crowd didn't care about this, and it's a real shame because I'm a fan of Ember. I think she was solid in NXT. I think she's underutilized on the main roster, but I think this is the problem when you have a women's roster which is so like spread out as such. I've always said that they should just merge both and put them on Raw exclusively, but
Yeah.
they're never gonna fucking do it. But it was fine. I mean, more interested to see where Bailey goes from here because obviously, again, I think it's total filler this title until Charlotte gets the title back, which is a fucking shame, really.
Yeah. Well, do you reckon they've got to build Bailey and Sasha soon, right?
But they're still brand split, aren't they?
I know,
Sasha's...
but they'll do something.
Oh God, you know what? I had my feel of that 18 months. Won't they break up? I don't want to go back to that. I keep Bailey and Sasha as far away as humanly possible.
No, fair point. Well, Bailey wins.
Yes, sorry, we should have made that. Oh no, I made it clear. Sorry,
You do. Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon. If Kevin Owens loses, he is fired or he has to leave. I don't think it wasn't he was fired, was it? It was that he would leave.
I think it was he must leave SmackDown. Again, I'm not 100% sure.
That's what made me think he was going to lose because I thought he'd just pop up on Raw. But
yeah, that's what I mean. There's no stakes if you're leaving one brand. It's like you literally just turn up the night after.
What did you think of this?
I thought it was total panto.
It
Not
was,
bad,
wasn't it? Yeah.
Not
the
bad.
thing is,
though.
would you have preferred that? Would you prefer the fact it was Panto with Elias on the outside, or would you prefer to have seen a Shane McMahon wrestling match?
See, I'm one of the few people that still like Shane quite a lot, and I still stand by the fact that he could probably be WWE champion, and it would be fine. I can't wait for that to blow up in my fucking face eventually. I thought this was fine. I don't mind it. Again, Shane's kind of lost a lot of his magic because he's been so consistently featured as a performer in matches over the past however long. When did he come back? WrestleMania 32?
Against Taker.
Against Taker? That's 3 years ago. We've seen the coast to coast. We've seen the rabbit punches. We've seen him sweat a lot. It's just
been on a lot of shows since then.
That's what I mean. It's like he's fine as a performer. He's much better than his old man ever was, but it's like, how many more times can we see him wrestle? It's like he desperately needs like a few months off. But he's been featured so prominently in feuds. I mean, he's just literally come off a feud with The Miz, and yet we're now repeating the same with Owens, where they're trying to recreate Austin and McMahon again.
Yeah, and it looks as though it's going to continue as well.
Yeah, looks like it. I thought this was fine though. It's
Yeah,
if you're a purist wrestling fan, this is probably your idea of hell. But me, it's like if you want a bit of variation in the world of sports entertainment, which is what the WWE offers, I thought this was serviceable.
yeah, agreed. Owens wins. He doesn't have to leave WWE. Uh, Elias was the special guest enforcer. Was just there as it was annoying, but it was all
This
right.
That kind of pissed me off because it kind of ignored the entirety of the pre-show where he gets speared by Edge.
Yeah.
Didn't even fucking sell it as far as I'm
Well,
aware.
Edge is and retired. He's retired, so you got to no sell him.
I know, but we're in the gratitude era, which means if you get hit by a legend, you should be down for like the entire night.
What, like Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam?
Well, exactly. Exactly. I don't book this shit, man.
It only went 9 minutes, so that was a saving grace.
Yes. Yeah.
Next up, I'll be honest. A big surprise for me. Charlotte Flair against Trish Stratus. This was billed as a big kind of Queen Charlotte against, legendary
Queen of
Queen
Queens
Trish.
versus Queen Charlotte.
Yeah. I'll again be honest. I had no interest in this match. I was really quite nonplussed about it. I kind of thought, whatever. But this was excellent.
Yeah. Just as a side note, WWE's app needs to fucking get its act together because I lost access to this for about 45 minutes during the middle of this match.
Yeah, the new app isn't great.
No, it's not. It desperately needs a fix up. I had high hopes for this because I think Trish is a tremendously underrated talent in the ring.
Yeah, I kind of forget just how much she improved years ago.
Yeah, she's literally. I mean, her progression from being a valet manager to
she was literally a tits and arse joke.
Exactly that. To the fact that she was. I mean, everyone forgets that her and Lita headlined a Raw back in 2004. I think towards the end.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to this. After watching this, it's like what I would have loved to have seen Trish featured more prominently on the main roster. Obviously, she has no intention of whatsoever.
Kind of makes you wish that we got that Alexa Trish singles match at Evolution last year as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been great. This was fantastic. I love this match.
Yeah, it was really good. Told a good story. In no way in a million years was Trish ever going to win. There was some good like near falls. This crowd were so on her side. I thought Flair played a great heel.
Yeah, just the slapping and stuff.
I was going to say I think this match was put together just to give Charlotte something high profile because if she's not in the title scene, then I think they find it really hard to book her. Just it's
Poochie booking. If Charlotte isn't featured in the world title,
where's Poochie? When Poochie's not on screen, the others supposed to be.
Thank you. You can just leave it outside the door.
Yeah, no, it's completely that. And I'm not knocking it. Well, I am, I guess, but I'm not knocking this match because I thought she played her part well. Trish was good. It was very good. Very, like, the moves were good. Everything was, like, well put together. WWE have this thing, don't they, where they like these kind of, well, they like high-profile women's matches to be kind of practiced before. Maybe they did do that before. Maybe they just did that for Rumbles and stuff or Money in the Bank.
Showed.
It was great.
This match made me. I mean, it gave Flair something to do, as you rightly said, but it also probably inadvertently made you like. Again, it's like this is treated as Trish's farewell match. I mean, she said goodbye and stuff, and it sounds like this is an actual retirement farewell. But it's like it maybe was like, can't she be like an irregular special attraction to maybe put some people over because she's still got it.
Yeah,
she never lost it. Stuff, but
she's still got it. Yeah, in more ways than one. No, it was great. She was great. Charlotte was great. The finish was good. I like the finish.
Yes, same. It was everything I wanted and more. I love this match. I can't knock it. I can't knock it.
That's when you know it's good wrestling because it's 16. It's nearly 15, nearly 17 minutes long. This match, and it didn't feel like that. It just went.
Well, it didn't for me because it took me nearly an hour to watch this match because of outside interference. But this didn't piss me off. I liked this. I really did like it.
Yeah, agreed.
Did you see the bit after this where AEW superstar Bret Hart gave Seth good luck?
Yeah, yeah. That was a shot fired. That's shots fired in the new wrestling war. Well, good. It's nice to see that he's not blacklisted. But I mean,
No, yeah.
WWE in Canada, you got to put him on, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean they're running out of. I mean he's literally the last person standing, unfortunately, from
Oh,
the Heart Foundation.
don't
It's
even.
so
It's
sad. I know.
fucking depressing.
It is depressing.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. Uh. WWE Championship match: Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton. You said this to me the other day. They did really well turning Randy shooting on Kofi a couple of years ago into a decent storyline for this match.
I know. They didn't explain why Orton called him stupid. They just
Well,
kept showing it over and over again.
well, they just tried to make it seem as though Randy was being a dick, but it
Yeah,
wasn't. Not because he botched the spot, but
yeah, nearly hurt him really badly, and he was totally justified in calling him stupid.
yeah. You also said the other day how the crowd were a bit shit during this match, which I agree.
You know what? Crowd is cunty. That's how I put it.
And you said that they deserved the double count out finish.
You know what? This was the match I looked forward to the most, and
Really?
yeah. I thought because of similar to Brian and Miz last year, I was like, this has actually got a bit of reality to it. You know, I'm sounding proper Russo now. It's like I can only accept storylines, but there's like elements of realness to it.
Mm.
But this fucking finish to this match, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, you have to expect one of these finishes, to be honest. I was surprised that it wasn't that many fuck finishes before this. So
Do you know
to have to this, I wasn't that surprised.
You know what would have just worked just as well, where you can have the aftermath as well. You have
The
Kofi roll him
DQ.
up.
Oh,
No,
right.
you have Kofi roll him up when Orton gloats in front of his family. You
I
just
guess
have him
so.
quickly roll him up. Orton's pissed off, and then just beats him up afterwards with weapons.
Maybe, I guess.
You have a definitive finish, you can continue. But bullshit finish. But you know what? Crowd chanting "Kofi stupid, Randy sucks" for the entirety of the match.
Mm, yeah,
Is
I'm with you on that.
Kofi over now? Is it time to get the belt off him?
Who takes it off him though?
I don't know. I said I wouldn't mind Orton winning the title.
Maybe. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, Roman could, but that would literally kill off all goodwill for him.
Possibly. Depends if whoever's trying to kill him succeeds. You never know, do you?
Yeah, they did feature this a little bit on the actual show. Obviously, you had the bollocks at the kickoff, but they did show a random recap of the who's trying to kill Roman feud. Obviously, that's getting resolved apparently next week on SmackDown. Cheap plug, but
Oh god.
yeah, I know. I can't wait.
Right then, we move on to the vinegar strokes of SummerSlam 2019. The Fiend, the debut of The Fiend, formerly Bray Wyatt, or still Bray Wyatt, but this is the new evil persona of Bray Wyatt, against Finn Balor. Finn comes out, happy Finn, smiley Finn, wearing his little pants.
In white.
Loving life. Fiend comes out, and it's excellent. The entrance.
I was literally going to say the entirety of the moment Finn comes out to the very end of this match and the aftermath is probably the best thing of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Not hyperboling it, but this literally was like a bloody coming out party for the WWE's creative actually accomplishing something truly wonderful.
Yeah. It was great. I just think the Bray Wyatt head lantern was great.
Whopper.
The new version of the music, because I did say before I don't want to see his music go.
Did you hear the pop when the crowd realised it was the same song when they start hearing the lyrics? I know you hear a notable people going, "Ah, yes!"
It was kind of had that kind of Marilyn Manson.
It's
theme,
Code Orange. They're a metal band.
I know,
I
but
thought it was good.
Did you not think it had that Marilyn Manson theme?
I said that
vibe.
It's industrial. It's industrial metal. So as far as I'm aware, it sounds very similar to Antichrist Superstar from Manson. I probably fucking mangled that title.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, the entrance was great. The mask, I like the mask. I actually feel uncomfortable for him watching him wrestling it, because I kind of think maybe there was something, I don't know, it just seems a bit
I said this
weird
to
he's
you.
wrestling in it. But
I,
also, I always liked Bray. I always thought Bray was really good in terms of the facials when it comes to wrestling, like the way well, I suppose his acting, his wrestling acting acumen, I always thought was quite good. But
I think in terms of wrestling, unlike Kane, which is always the point to where he literally couldn't breathe for that fucking mask, and it's a miracle Glenn Jacobs went through however many years he had the original mask on, like 5 or something stupid.
yeah,
Um, at least Bray's got like a massive mouth segment where he can actually breathe properly. But I think an underrated part of Bray's always been his crazy eyes, and obviously with the contact lenses in, he's just you completely like you can't not take your eyes off him. It's like
yeah. The whole
it's
the whole shtick now is the kind of reptile eyes and his tongue. He's poking his tongue out a lot.
that's what I thought it was Whopper. I do agree with the fact that obviously because Vince and probably creative are so culturally like stagnant, they haven't realised that there's a lot of elements of this which you can point at to say like DC's New 52 Joker,
Oh, it's Schneider.
Pennywise.
It's definitely
It's
Schneider's
It
Joker.
is Schneider's first Joker, just even from it. But obviously, it's Pennywise. I mean, as we've said before, this is I can't imagine like this. Like Pritchard's probably got his fingerprints all over this because he's always pointed out he wanted to do a bloody attitude revamp of Toint the Clown. But
Mm.
this was just fucking amazing. The whole thing.
Yeah. Just to recap the match, it was short. The Fiend won, in case you couldn't tell. Um, Lots of spots where he did old Bray Wyatt stuff, but then it kind of messed with his head, which I thought was quite good storytelling.
Yeah.
He's new finisher is the Mandible Claw, but so it's the old mankind original mankind version in that you basically choke them out to the point where they're out and you get a free count, which is I think fits very well.
Yep.
Bray looks in really good shape. I think he's obviously someone who puts a lot into his gimmicks, and I was a big fan of Bray Wyatt when that was a thing. Really was a big fan. I've loved it when he won that World Championship. I hated it when he lost it. But yeah, I think this is something good. He apparently isn't going to be on Raw like every week, so he wasn't on Raw after SummerSlam, and that's because apparently, according to I can't remember which. I think maybe Ryan Satin. Yeah, you're right. So Satin said that he's been told the indication is that he'll just pop up every now and then because they want there to be an element of surprise, which is cool, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I was going to say it does make sense because again, Taker was exactly the same in the early '90s. They didn't have him on every week on Superstars or whatever it was.
Yeah, but did he pass the Shockmaster debut test? Yes, he did. It was good. It was great. We'll see where they go with it. Old Bray Wyatt got booked really strong for 6 months. 6 months.
That's a bit of a push.
And then he got fed to Cena. Will that happen again, or will that happen? I mean, the new version is he'll get fed to Roman. We'll see. I don't know.
Christ, yeah.
Well,
can you imagine?
I'm just trying to think of the worst case scenario, but we'll see. It was really good. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, everyone involved. This was literally the highlight of the entire weekend, as I said before.
Would you go that far? Interesting.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This is, I would dare say, what do you call it? Obviously, because 2K's just announced that The Fiend is a pre-order, not a pre-order, but exclusive.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
you
a case of,
sent me that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, you either have to pre-order the Deluxe or the SmackDown 20th Anniversary Edition to get this for free, as opposed to paying $15.
Which bump is in the night.
Yeah, I know. So you get the Fiend, and you also get some basically reskins of Halloween variants of like Braun, Finn, Alistair Black.
You're going to buy it, aren't you?
Oh, fuck. Well, I didn't get 2K last year. I got Fire Pro, which I was told was the greatest wrestling game ever. And then I played it, and it was like, you lying cunts. What the fuck is this? So maybe 80 quid for a bloody deluxe edition is a lot of money, though. And this Christmas is quite. Have you seen how many games are coming out this Christmas?
There aren't any.
We got Death Stranding.
Death Stranding is about it. Yeah.
Got Pokemon.
Oh, get fucked. Right, hang on. We've got SummerSlam to finish.
Yeah, come on. We've got one more match. Go on. Oh, we've
Yeah,
got two more as well, sorry.
and it's another good match. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal title against Seth Rollins. Beaten and battered Seth Rollins after Brock's beat him up the last few Raws. This was really good. Again, this was probably my match of the night. Again, low expectations, but you know that Brock is capable of a good match. We know that Seth is capable of a good match. Maybe it just comes down to the fact that Brock finally enjoys working with Seth. That he means he'll give him more than 8 minutes. But yeah, it was good. Went quite long actually for a Brock
Yeah,
main
it was
event.
about 17 minutes, I think.
13 bell to bell, but
Sorry.
that's pretty good for him. Rollins was still selling his rib injury when he did his entrance and he lifted his arms. He actually then sold his ribs, which I thought was a nice. I always think that's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Selling before the match starts, always good. Some good. They always. I'm trying to think if someone's done this before. Maybe Brian did, but you know the whole. I know. I'll reverse the German suplexes into flips kind of thing, which Seth did quite well for the start. It was good. Loads of Germans, couple of brutal looking moves, chucking Seth around. Seth getting that kind of opportunist offense in. I think it still took about 5 stomps overall, but Seth did get the win. He got his belt back fairly clean. Was it clean? Yeah, it was
I
clean.
think it's Lesnar's first clean loss since Survivor Series 2016. Someone pointed out.
Who was
That might be
against?
bollocks. Goldberg.
Oh, Goldberg. Yeah, shit. And then even then you could say that it was clean against Goldberg, but it was the element of surprise that he lost to.
That's true.
Hmm.
There's a lot of variance.
This was really good. Well played, Seth. And I think if the idea of Brock getting the briefcase only to drop the belt back to Seth on here was a device to get Seth over, or even more over, or over again, it worked because he started getting booed. He was getting booed at the start of this match, and then the pop when he won was pretty big. It's a thumbs up from me. Well done. Brock's hopefully going to go away now for 6 months, and we won't see him until the Rumble, but we'll see.
I hope he's out of the title picture. I was just going to point out as well that just before this match started, Cole recounted Cena and Brock from 5 years ago and called Cena legendary, which is fucking weird to think about now that Cena's...
Shit, maybe Cena's definitely done.
Legendary. This match, for all intents and purposes, looked retrospectively dead obvious in terms of booking. Like, Seth getting beaten the piss out of prior to the match in terms of booking. So it seemed obvious he must overcome Brock. But because of previous stupid booking concerning Roman and Brock, it was kind of up in the air. I agree with your sentiment. It was a very good match. I loved it when Seth did the first reversal of the German. I was like, oh shit. Maybe he's like his ultimate rival, where it's like, no matter how bad Brock is, Rollins will always have one up on him just because of athleticism and stuff. I did like it. I'm Brock's biggest critic. I think some of his matches are just so formulaic. They just are mercifully dull. But this was mercifully very well crafted, and I loved it. So no complaints. It was the absolute right decision. I think if Brock, as I've pointed out, if Brock actually won this, I dared, Raw to be in a fucking quandary for the next however long. I want Brock to be out of the fucking title picture now for good, because it does no one any bloody favours. And I just want, as I said might have been like 2 years ago or so, if they book Seth right, they could have their own bloody Okada with like a workhorse champion who takes on all comers and delivers these top quality matches. They've kind of stalled with the first title reign where they obviously ended up integrating Becky into a storyline, which was just...
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, even though I like the Corbin elements of it.
Whatever.
Depending on where they go now, it's like, obviously they've already alluded to the fact Heyman's like, my client needs a rematch, and it's like, oh God, let it rest.
Wasn't that one of the rule changes they did? Was that no immediate rematches? Yeah.
Yeah, no more immediate rematches. That was coincident with Becky. But yeah, thumbs up for me. I thought this was exactly the right decision. The match was solid. Thumbs up. Yeah, no complaints.
Cool. Now it was SummerSlam. Just want to make a point here.
Yep.
We've discussed this, but I've got a list So this, as we said, this show went 3.5 hours long, which was a lovely length. Oh, 3.5 hours with the without the pre-show, 5.5 with the pre-show. But main card, 3.5 hours. The perfect length for a wrestling card.
Yep.
So in order to do that, there's a long list of absent wrestlers, some very high profile.
I got one for you, Reese. Simpsons reference.
Well, we're gonna go through it. Go on. What's your Simpsons reference?
Well, folks, we're here to my favourite part: the cuts.
You're a cut. Oh, you're a cut. You better
Roman, you're a cut.
So, you know what? Cue music. Here we go. So, not on this show. And by the way, when I say not on this show, I mean they're not wrestling. If they're backstage doing doing something, don't give a shit. They're still not on the show. They're not wrestling.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Intercontinental Champion Nakamura.
Christ, I forgot he was champ.
The OC Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Ali, the Usos. Though to be fair, one of them is banned from Canada currently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joint question.
Andrade, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, your friend Baron Corbin, Lashley, The Miz, Drew McIntyre, Cedric Alexander, Aleister Black, Sami Zayn, Rusev, Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Asuka, Kairi Sane. Am I missing anyone? Like really obvious?
Probably are. That roster depth, Jesus.
Oh, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. Shit, there's so many.
You know the sad bit? You've named Corbin and Lacey Evans, who are technically both in world title pictures for their
exactly.
Genders.
That's why I mentioned it.
Not featured, not even barely mentioned on the. But tell a lot. I don't even think they were mentioned on this card.
The Revival. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Jinder Mahal. And he's just signed a new 5-year deal, hasn't he, Jinder? Apparently.
I believe so, yeah.
Christ, yeah. Cut the music. There we go. That's done. Yeah. I mean, just to finish the SummerSlam and this bit, I guess. When they had the 2 pay-per-views a month thing going, it was a bit shit. It was a bit much, but you can see why they did it, because the amount of talent we just mentioned there could fill another 2 pay-per-views. Maybe it's absurd, really, when you think about it.
Well, you know, if AEW and New Japan eventually give Vince a run for his money, you can take one listen to your list and go, okay, let's do a Cole.
Well, Rusev's got to be gone soon, surely.
Well, they're on a sabbatical again. Him and Lana.
Lana's on a sabbatical in a lingerie on Instagram every day, by the looks of it. Which I hate.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Right. Let's wrap up. I say wrap up. Let's wrap up with New Japan. The end of the G1 Climax 29th edition. Let me set the scene. So the Block A final night, Ibushi was... What was he? He was 6-2. Okada was 7-1. Only a win for Ibushi would get him past Okada and into the G1 final. And Ibushi did just that. He defeated Okada. Both finish with a 7-2 record. And Ibushi wins because he has the tiebreaker over Okada. And a very strong G1 for Okada. And obviously a very strong G1 for Ibushi. Goes into the final. 14 points. Match was excellent. I think... What did Meltzer give it? Meltzer gave it 5. Which... Yeah, hard to not give that a 5. Going by the new sliding scale of Meltzer, you could probably give it more if you ask me, but whatever. So that was night 17 on Saturday. Sunday, B block finals. Quite a few people were in contention for this actually, but they all lost. So Goto lost against Shingo, Moxley lost against Juice, which is going to be a US title feud for him, I imagine. Was it? What's King of Pro Wrestling is the next big one? Or is that the next big one? Power Struggle. You got Power Struggle left. King of Pro Wrestling, Tag League, Destruction shows. Yeah, there's quite a few to fill before Wrestle Kingdom. Ishii lost, Moxley lost, Goto lost. So Jay White against Naito, winner takes all. Jay White wins. So G1 final is Kota Ibushi against everyone's favourite knife pervert, Jay White.
Sorry.
The final show was really good, actually. Obviously, it's quite a lot of just 6-man tags and tag matches. It's just, it's what New Japan shows tend to be in these situations, which is always good with G1 season, because actually a 6-man tag means that people that have wrestled their bollocks off for the last 2 to 3 weeks can have a rest on the apron, but still work. Some decent stories out of the undercard. Suzuki pinned Okada. More on that in a sec. Pretty sure Zack Sabre challenged Tanahashi for Royal Quest. More on that later. Kenta joined the Bullet Club, and then a furious Shibata come out, beat up Kenta a bit until he was overwhelmed, and then Bullet Club battered the shit out of him, which was, again, pretty excellent, giving people hopes that Shibata might return. But
I was literally about to say,
considering
fine?
Considering his skull is made out of paper mache, I'm probably going to assume he's not. But this is Japanese wrestling, and you never fucking know. G1 final, Jay White, Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi gets the win. He wins the G1 to the delight of everyone. So, yeah, Meltzer gave this a 5.5. I'd have swapped it around and give this a 5 and gave Ibushi Okada 5.5, but that's just me. Great match, great storytelling, great psychology. You can say what you want about Jay White. People don't like him. He is good. He's very good.
I was going to say, he's come. As a person who criticised the very first time I saw him against Tanahashi back in 2017, he's come literally leaps and bounds. He's fantastic. He's literally one of the best in the world at the moment.
Yeah, he has a good gimmick. Well, it's not so much a gimmick; it's more his style in that he can reverse pretty much everyone's finisher, which is really cool. He does it really well. He also does really standard Panto heel stuff quite well. Brings the heat. There's a lot of heat in this match. Kota's obviously a huge star in Japan. Everyone wanted him to win. Jay was getting a lot of heat. But yeah, Ibushi. So at this moment in time, Ibushi against Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. That's if Ibushi gets through. So he lost twice. So in G1, you defend your. So they give you like a certificate. You get like a signed certificate. That's your it's like your voucher.
Swimming. I was going to say
it's like your one. It's like your voucher to Wrestle Kingdom. So and they give you a nice little briefcase for it. So I don't know where they got that idea from. So he's got to defend that against the two people he lost to in a G1, who are Evil and Kenta. So that's 2 big matches he's got, and the show's coming up. There we go. I mean, it should be Okada Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom. They held enough back in their Block A match where they're going to fucking completely tear the roof off of the Tokyo Dome in January. Very excited about that already. I don't know. You can never really tell with New Japan booking if they'll give Ibushi the big moment or if it will just be another notch on the Okada will be known as the greatest of all time bedpost in years to come. We'll see. But yeah, really good stuff from New Japan. And they've announced the card for the show at the end of the month that will be in Stratford, East London. Our home, Harry. Well, not your home anymore, but your hometown, shall we say. It's looking good, actually. Very good. Just run through it quickly. We've got Taguchi Shooter's there. Shooter Amino, Ren Narita against the team of Chaos of Shoyo, Rocky Romero. Kota Ibushi and Juice Robinson vs Bullet Club of Yujiro Takahashi and Hikileo, who's over here on Excursion, actually, doing a lot of stuff with Rev Pro. Seems pretty decent. It'll be Ospreay and Robbie Eagles against Ishimori and El Phantasmo, which sounds really good, actually, when you think all 4 of those guys are just going to be fucking flying all over the place.
I was literally going to say they're not going to be able to keep fucking still in that match.
Yeah, it'll be good. And then it'll be LIJ of Naito and Sonata against Jay White and Chase Owens. That could be decent.
That could be good, yeah.
Then we get to the main part of the card. So Gorillas of Destiny will defend the IWGP tag titles against the winner of a tournament that's happening in Rev Pro at the moment. The final is at Summer Sizzle the night before Royal Quest, and it will be Shah Samuels and Josh Bodum against Aussie Open. I imagine Aussie Open are going to win that because they've been knocking on the door of something like New Japan and maybe World Tag League and stuff like that as a way to debut. But they might get their debut here at Royal Quest. This is a good one. Ishii against Kenta for the never open weight title. Kenta turned heel by GTSing Ishii at the G1 finals, so that sounds like a fucking brutal, great match. Ishii's quite big and over in England. He did some really good stuff with Rev Pro and OTT. Obviously not in England, in Ireland, but
he's facing against Ishii, who also has a very large following in the UK.
That's who I was talking about just then. But yes, Kenta's also very much liked.
So I thought you were talking about Kenta.
They're both fairly well liked, aren't they?
Sorry.
Zack Sabre Jr. against Tanahashi for Rev Pro's British Heavyweight title. They've put on some really good matches in the past. I would love it if Tanahashi won that. But
really? You prefer Tanahashi to beat Sabre?
Oh, get to see Tanahashi at York Hall. Yes, please.
I was going to say it's a bit of an oddity. But then again, are they going to play into the fact that Sabre managed to beat Okada last year?
Maybe. He has been at York Hall, just to be clear, but it would be cool to see him there again.
You mean you see him live?
Me see him there, yeah, not off of their on demand that I definitely use. And then the main event will be Okada defending the IWGP title against Suzuki, who again, Okada's obviously huge everywhere he goes. He gets very big reactions here. We saw him in Manchester last year. He got a lovely big pop. Suzuki gets very big pops over here. His last couple of years doing some stuff in British indies, got a very good following. And they had a match. Remember, what was it? The feud after Wrestle Kingdom 10. Wait, was it 10 or 11 with Okada Omega, the first one? Was that 11?
11.
Yeah, so after that, his feud was with Suzuki. And they had a really good match at one of was it New Beginning in Sapporo or Osaka? I can't remember.
I do remember this one.
They had people
quite shocked about Suzuki.
Yeah, they had a really good match, which was mostly Suzuki murdering Okada's legs for 40 minutes and Okada surviving and getting the win. If it's anything like that, it will be great, and the crowd will be fucking really into it. I think they've really nailed this card. I think it's really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I actually think it looks better than pretty much 90% of all of the US cards they've done.
Yeah, it does. It looks like they're really putting all their eggs in the basket.
Might be biased there. The arena they're in looks really good for wrestling, so I'm hoping it's the Copper Box in Stratford. They use it for boxing. It looks like it'll be really good for wrestling, but we'll see. Really looking forward to that. The G1's been awesome. New Japan's generally always awesome. And that is an excellent week of wrestling, Harry.
I don't know, man. It's got to compete against NXT Takeover Cardiff. I mean, I think it's doomed, man.
Well, we'll see.
I was being sarcastic.
I know you were being sarcastic, but
I don't even know if that arena's sold out yet.
Well, apparently they've done really good selling. They've sold a good amount of tickets, but I don't know if that's true or not.
WWE or New Japan?
They reckon New Japan have sold about 6,000, which would be fucking great if they have.
I thought it sold out. Sorry,
it hasn't sold out. The only thing left are like the corner blocks.
Oh, what Gorilla would call them cheap seats.
Oh god, yeah, fucking wanker. Oh, sorry. It's gonna be good. The atmosphere should be great. You know, England.
Yeah,
English crowds are very grateful when these things come.
I would have liked to have gone. It's just unfortunately it's happening in the one time a year where most of my immediate family have birthdays. So
selfish fuckers, eh?
I know, one of them fucking things. What can you do? Maybe they'll come back. Maybe everyone will buy 2 T-shirts and they'll be like, got to do more shows in the UK.
Oh, they should. Hopefully, this is a yearly thing. We'll see.
Oh, can you imagine how good? I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine they're going to do anything like that would truly upset the balance. I can't imagine Suzuki, as much as I love him, winning the championship.
Oh, it could be like a house show and everyone defends their title, but I can honestly see Kenta beating Ishii for the Never Openweight title.
Yeah, I mean
that to me,
Neville. Yeah.
that to me sounds like it will happen. Everyone else would probably defend their titles, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
And there we go, episode 36 in the pocket. Cool. We said we'd do an hour. We've done an hour 15 so far. So go us. Eh?
We tried.
Yeah. But too much good stuff to talk about. It feels good not complaining that much about wrestling, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It makes a nice, refreshing feel. I'm sure we'll go back to normal next pay-per-view when we're complaining about what is the next
minus 5 stars.
What is next show?
Oh God, I don't even know.
That was away. Usually WWE have got it like embedded into us, you know.
Is it Hell in a Cell? That's October. No, what's the September show?
September. Extreme Rules? No, we've had Extreme
No,
Rules.
it's the Clash of Champions.
Oh God, that's right. Yes, yeah. And the big rumor is next week
it's
on
the
Raw, Braun's winning.
Well, no, so it's the King of the Ring finals is at Clash of Champions.
Is it really sad that I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever?
Well, we'll see. It should be.
I hope. As long as Whitney doesn't have to wear the bloody crown and have the gimmick. We can cover that, though.
Oh, shit, there's another Crown Jewel in October.
Yeah, I know. They're not leaving.
I know, but I didn't realise it had come around so quickly.
I know. Twice a year. Loads of fun. Last pay-per-view was great.
Wonderful. Oh, well, great lols. But anyway,
yeah.
Enough of that bullshit. Cool. Right. Unless there's anything else you want to discuss, let's say our goodbyes.
No, nothing. I'm good to go, man. We'll talk about Sasha another time.
Oh yeah, well let's do one next week. Let's get back on a weekly, shall we?
We can try.
Bollocks
in wrestling.
Our tens and tens of listeners need their weekly fix.
Yeah, I mean we've got to answer all those mailbag questions. Like, do we want to subscribe for Tiger Viagra and all the other shit?
There's a few. I've ignored some. But actually, it's not that I've ignored them. I've forgotten about them. I'll have a look. But yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon, very soon. Catch us on YouTube. Need to update that actually. Yeah, just search Smarts for Attitude on YouTube. We're on Twitter at SWA_podcast, and SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/smartsforattitude, and yeah, we're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, all that gubbins. smartsforattitude@gmail.com if you do fancy emailing a question, or even if you just want to tell us that we're a bunch of dickheads, don't matter. Engagement. It's good.
I'm a sensitive soul.
Yeah, you are.
I don't have thick skin.
Yeah, you do. But so yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.